Okay, here we are today. Today is July 13th, 2024. And I'm Ashley Lee, and I'm calling in from Sedona, Arizona. So I'm in Pacific time zone. And my beautiful friend and colleague, and a wonderful, wonderful light being of love and the love of children and supporting children and education and creating experiential awareness trainings is where I wanted to focus today. Nina, welcome. And you're calling in from Amsterdam?
Yeah, no, near Amsterdam. It's
Near
Lelystad,
Amsterdam?
Lelytown,
Where? Wow.
Lelytown.
I can't wait to be over there. I've never been to the Netherlands. I can't wait.
Yeah,
It sounds
welcome.
amazing. It sounds amazing. And it's just a little after 5 p.m. your time. And what I wanted
Hmm.
to gather was this idea called GEMS, or Global Energy Mastery Schools, for children preconception, so before mommy and daddy get together,
Hmm.
conception, the time they get together and the egg and the sperm and everything starts to make a baby, gestation, where the baby grows inside the womb in utero, and then at birth, and then infancy through young adulthood. So infancy, toddlerhood, not sure how you say it in Dutch, and
Yeah.
preschool, kindergarten, young elementary school that we have had, then middle school. In America we have middle school, which is kind of funny, and then there's high school, and then so I was thinking of ending at high school for gems, and then we could have a grown-up one called
Yeah.
colleges and lifelong learning. And what you just shared before we started the recording was talking about like unlearning all the things that we learned so that we can actually now, as an emancipated humanity, learn how to learn without suppression, right? Without being told what to do in the way that learning gets stifled or condensed or lowered and all of that. And so it's like a freedom of learning, maybe is what it could be called, right? So I'm going to put that down, freedom of learning. And where you are and who you be in the world, we were just talking too a little bit about kind of clearing some, is it old stagnation or like feeling slow or feeling depressed, but not like physically depressed, like not able to move or get up in the morning, or what are we here for? Like, how can we be wake up in the morning and then be ready to go to suppress children, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. So it makes sense why everyone and everything is a little tiring and a little overwhelming, because we don't have schools or systems or academies or structures that really bring forward the children's giftedness so that that can be expressed in every way and every day. So we're here now to illuminate that. Some other people in the world have done that, right? Like Rudolf Steiner created the
Yeah.
Waldorf schools and all those things. But his 100-year business plan ended in 2020. And so the energy on the planet has decreased. He was holding that space. I don't think he even knew he was holding a space for 100 years energetically, right? But I've talked to Waldorf teachers in Hawaii, and they said it was amazing that the energy just dissipated
Yeah.
after the 100-year
Wow.
business. So
Wow.
I wanted to create GEMS, Global Energy Mastery Schools, and I can call it any. I mean, it doesn't have to stay that. That's just what I identified as
Yeah. I
this
understand.
entity. And what I do see is that I want to create it for 12,000 years. So to make that spiritual commitment into the next 12,000 years of what that looks like, what that lends to, how that grows, how we create a legacy plan long after you and I are here, right? And what does
Hmm.
that mean? And I knew you as being literally a light language linguist.
Hmm.
So this ability to bring in communication through light language, which in the vocal area or in the sound frequency area, that's through uterations of the vocal cords, right? With the breath and the vocal cords. So when you start to illuminate or share your brilliance of the light language, right? Like we the last time we spoke was you were going to wake up every morning
Yeah,
singing light language, and then in the evening maybe singing it in the shower or just before you go to
yeah, I
bed.
did, and I still do. And during
You
the
did and you
day, and
still
on
do.
the street, and
That's so beautiful. Now, what has that done for your life since doing that?
well, it was very good idea of you because then I started to unlearn my negative thoughts be- when I woke up because the train of negativity, the negative thoughts, I mean, started to uh, moving, so to say. So when I started to sing the light language, then the train couldn't start, so to say. So um, it prevents me from going downwards in my energy level, and instead I stayed in my own energy, and I felt better when I did it. Um, and the more often I do it, the better I can stay in my own energy. And I found out that I'm very sensitive for people, but I knew that already. But what I didn't realize is that I can get sick of negative thoughts of other people. And that the main thing is that I still think somehow that those thoughts are my thoughts. And then I grab the thought, I integrate it, and I want to do something about it. And that causes a drop in my energy level. So I started to uh, um, how do you say it? To look for a way, look for the whole mechanism behind it. And when I sang the light language, um, it became much more clear how it works. So that's what it meant to me, still means to me.
Wow.
And my movements, because I also do this kind of thing with my hands, because that is enhancing the effect. Yeah.
So do you do mudras with your hands while you're doing light language?
Yeah, previously I already did some healings with light language and movements with my body, and the singing and the talking, and yeah, and the writing. But now it's the movement is coming automatically when I sing, and I'm not in bed because now I want to sleep, and then I lay. Then it's difficult, more difficult to move, but um, yeah, that's what I discovered that it's going through my whole body more than before.
So
And it
that's
can,
really beautiful. As
yeah,
you shared that sometimes you get sick, like you could be physically sick or
yeah,
you could be mentally sick, like, oh my God, what do you say, negative thoughts, like negative thoughts towards like other people, like they're
yeah,
misbehaving or they're not doing well. And so we could get sick with negative thoughts about other people and situations. And then, or emotionally sick, like I'm frustrated, I'm upset, I'm irritated, or even spiritually kind of sick, going, why are we in school like this? Why is everybody bullying each other or being mean to each
yeah.
other? Or the teacher's like, I told you to do whatever, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, but I
when,
also, mhm,
yeah.
I also discovered the difference. No, that I had a choice to be in a victimhood because I still had something in me and I couldn't get out of it. I don't know how to say it, put it in another way. And then I read something on Facebook because I was, yeah, pondering about it. And then suddenly I knew it. So now I know, oh, now I'm in the victim state. And no matter if it's because I'm picking up some thoughts of someone else or if it's my own whatever, but now I can get myself out of it and come to my own light or joy or whatever, the other stuff, what I want, what I am, and not the heaviness of the victimhood. But now I know I have a choice to get it out of it. And before I knew it was victim consciousness, but I didn't know how to change it consciously. And now I know how to do it. And that's very, very important for me.
So now that you know that inner curriculum, that way to conflict resolve and to, so the way to conflict resolved is to be present to your uncomfortable thoughts and feelings,
Hmm.
breathe in the love that you are,
Hmm.
release any judgments about yourself and the situation so that you can see beyond the the immediate reaction to be present to how to create solutions. If we're kind of stuck
Yeah,
in
if you
our
loop.
negative thoughts and yeah,
Yeah.
and the loop,
And then you, yeah,
if we're stuck in our negative thoughts and we're stuck in our emotions, it's hard to move through
yeah,
that to be able to see the light or
yeah,
solutions with the problem that we're in right now.
yeah. Yeah, because I
And
kept
so
yeah,
yeah,
I kept
I sit,
focusing on problem. And when you focus on the problem, it gets bigger and you are swallowed by the problem and you don't see the solution because you can't get yourself distance from the what it's all about.
yes, so now you have that inner wisdom or inner knowledge.
Hmm.
And then you do light language, so you're sharing that inner wisdom and inner knowledge without having to go, okay, everybody, stop what you're doing, breathe, let it be okay that you're feeling or thinking what you're thinking. It's negative thoughts. Perfect. We're human. We do that. And, instead of all of that, you can give the transmission of the light language, right, to the
Hmm.
kids or the parents or others. And then they receive that and have that inner wisdom and experience that in their own kind of way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like everybody walking around with their own ability to do conflict resolution for
Hmm.
real, so that you can move into the space of our enlightened selves, right? And so light language enlightens us.
Yeah.
So I am so cool about I'm so excited about this because now we kind of take this whole linear, okay, I have this and this cause and I'm having this effect being
Hmm.
negative. Now with this cause and effect being negative, now how do I shift out of it? And I do this and then I do this and then I do this and then I do this. But kids don't really think like that, right? They're
Hmm.
not all left-brained linear
Yeah.
going start with A, then go to B, then go to C, or start with one, then go to two, then go to three. Instead of that way, we unlearn, us teachers, us practitioners, we unlearn how to do it that way because that's what's being taught in school, right? And we move into this way is this is the field, right? And
Hmm.
how would you, related to your learning, like to work with the field? So now
Well,
it might
yeah.
not be linear from, I don't know, in Europe it's a little bit right, it's the other side of the road, right?
Yeah.
Do you drive on the right side or the left side?
Uh, well, what side do we drive? I don't know it. Oh yeah, link on the left.
See, you drive on the
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
So it's different, right? It's a whole different, even
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
orientation.
Yeah.
Because in America or Canada, North America, I think even in Mexico too. I don't know about South America, but we drive on the right-hand side.
Oh.
So our whole orientation of
Yeah.
driving is shifted, right? And so
Yeah.
we have the driver's side on the right, on the left side of the car. Where is the driver's side on your car?
Now, suddenly I realized something else. Can I say it?
Yes.
Because when you told you were speaking about learning and how kids learn, and um, I was I also how do you say it? Looking back at my life and how it all started, and when I was a child and when I was at school, and then I discovered that I think I have told you before, but at one point in my life, I thought, I don't think I'm learning the right way because everybody else is doing it differently than I am. So then I'll do it like them. But when I did that, and I wanted to learn for a test, It took me quite long, but I sometimes somehow I thought it was better to fit in this world to do that. And now I don't know how I learned, but maybe I can get it back. I don't know, but I think it's important. And the way I see learning is when I'm with my kids. It was this afternoon, coincidentally. I went to them in the city, and then I'm jumping around just like them. They are 10 and 13, but I don't care how other people look at me. I make laugh and I tickle them, and you know, I'm very I have a lot of joy when I'm with the kids, when I'm myself, and I don't care how what the environment is. It's still there, and we're all smiling, and then it flows, and you can learn whatever you want, because that's the first state you are in. If you how do you say that?
You said it
That's the
really
state.
well.
Yeah,
State of learning, right?
yeah.
So what is the state of learning? The state of learning is being open,
Hmm.
right? Being present, um, engaging, right? Deciding to not only just be present and be open, because that's kind of passive, right? So what's the active part is engagement, right? Coming in.
Yeah, you want to learn, and you are eager to gain more knowledge, but not with your mind, with your whole body. That's something very
Yeah, so
different.
you're open, you're present, and you're eager, and then
Yeah,
you engage, you jump in.
yeah.
Okay.
And your body is a kind of, because that's how I feel it, and I think it's what children have, and the cells are vibrating, vibrant. I want to learn, not because you want it, but it's your natural state of learning, because we are humans are like that. We want to learn always, not because it's in a book of someone says it. No, we just want it. Yeah,
Right. So
natural.
what if the first language, what if the first language of children is light language?
Hmm.
And so preconception, that's kind of light language, right? That's connecting to our spirit and having communication with our spirit. So the unspirited baby who's not in a baby body yet doesn't really have a voice or vocal cords or breath yet, right? But it has an essence, so we can connect to the essence,
Yeah,
right? And so when we connect to the essence, we connect to the essence. I feel like it's light language through telepathy or
yeah,
light language through empathy and emotions somewhat have a magnetic charge, right?
yeah,
So you can feel it. So maybe the sense of feeling through the human body isn't possible yet because the child is not embodied into a physical body yet. So I sense
yeah.
photonic light language is the first essence of communication that the child receives. Then
No, but yeah,
on
yeah.
conception, right? They take the sperm and the egg, and the sperm goes into the egg, and then
Yeah.
it lights up. That's
Hmm.
the first language. And just think if the parents are there, I don't know, it's anywhere from 24 hours to I think 48 hours that the sperm and the egg kind of match up and then come together. And in that moment of that light illuminating that, just think if the parents were present at that moment. Like I know I experienced when I got pregnant, I knew the moment I was pregnant. I mean the
Hmm.
moment
Yeah, me
before
too.
implantation. See?
Yeah,
There's something about that. And
yeah,
then the mother, even if the father doesn't know how yet, the mother can share we conceived,
yeah,
even though we haven't proved it yet, even though the egg has an implant, we've conceived.
yeah.
Let's it's not about like proving it with the urine dipstick, right?
Mhm.
It's more about connecting than proving.
Yeah.
And I think that's the
No,
first essence of communication is
yeah,
connection.
yeah, and as a
And
kind of openness when you because it's receiving. Because the mother is open to and ready to receive it. Yeah, the
Yeah,
God's
receive the
essence. Yeah,
pregnancy.
yeah.
Yes. And so then talking with the baby through light language, just think what that means when the first cells are going from the sperm and the egg to 2 cells to 4 cells to 8 cells, all those master cells, both parents are present, laying
Yeah,
around in the bed,
I've heard
enjoying
of people
life.
who are telepathic, have communications with their child, and I've experienced myself too with other women who I met on the school of my kids, and that their babies when they were very small also could communicate, but then like they don't have vocal cords, but they can telepathically um, in a story kind of way put the story. That's how I experienced it. The story put it in myself so I can understand what they are saying. And so I think like language is very special, but the there are different ways how they can communicate. So that's for me it's very interesting. But I know what you
Okay,
mean. Yeah.
so yeah, so then the egg is forming, and then it, I don't know, within 3 or 4 or 5 days, it lands in the womb and then starts
Hmm.
to implant. And then the mother can start to feel it, and then the baby's hormones and your hormones start to match each other up, and then that's when we show the proof, in a few weeks that we're pregnant. And
Yeah.
literally in a few weeks, even 2 weeks or 3 weeks out now that the test has gotten more sensitive, so much has formed in the baby already. A lot of the brain and the nervous system has laid down. A lot of the separation of the different organ systems and the different body systems are being developed. Just think if the parents were in communication, even
Hmm.
light language wise, with the baby, right? The growing fetus, about how it's wanted, it's loved. We're so excited you're here. We can hear you. Can you hear us? That kind of thing.
Hmm.
That starts to set up the relationship because communication starts to share a relationship.
Hmm.
And a lot of people in our age group maybe believe that the baby's not alive until it comes out and takes its first breath,
Mm, yeah.
right? But that kind of is not really true.
No, not at all.
Right? We
Yeah.
don't just go from not alive to alive because of birth, right? We've been alive all along in the womb. And so then during gestation, right, at 6 to 8 weeks, when we create the heart, how would it be to tune into the baby when the baby's creating its heart, the 4 chambers and a healthy heart, that if it had some spiritual challenge from another lifetime, what if at 6 weeks gestation it could be handled, worked with? Rather than waiting to have a congenital heart defect or a problem and then have to resolve that then. And I don't think our Western medicine yet deals with the spiritual issues of that.
No.
And
No.
if we dealt with the spiritual problems with that, discord or traumas of past lives, like being mad at the world, mad at humans, humans are mean, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If we dealt with it then, just think about how many children would not be born with congenital heart defects. Like, I think everyone, honestly.
Hmm.
I did a little experiment over in San Diego, and I entered and I supported all fetuses that were at around 6 to 8 weeks gestation or a little bit before, and helped them clear their spiritual disheartedness. And 8 to 9 months later, in the environment that if they would come to the hospital in San Diego,
Hmm.
California, that it got, so for 2 months nobody got admitted as a newborn baby with a congenital heart defect.
Mm.
So much so that there wasn't enough business that our medical teams wanted more babies to come to our hospital so they could have a job.
Oh, yeah.
And
Huh.
and I didn't realize it. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Why would
Yeah.
you want kids to come to the
Yeah.
hospital? And then a spirit came in and said, do you remember what you did 8 to 9 months ago? And I'm like, oh, all that meditation towards at night while I was resting, connecting to kids that would have been born with a congenital heart defect and help them clear their spiritual issues. So I
Yeah.
kind of did a beta test, a pre-test to see if that would work. It worked completely.
Mm.
And
Cool.
so much
Yeah.
so that I was like, wow, so if we had a team of perinatal or, preconception through conception, through gestation, through birth, that whole period of time, perinatal, that's just a fancy medical term, that
Hmm.
says that whole time span.
Yeah.
If we had practitioners working with kids around the world and families around the world, then no one would be born with congenital heart defects. No human would be born with that.
And the other diseases, maybe.
Other
I don't know.
diseases, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There are more, not
There
only
are
the heart. I
there
mean,
are more
yeah.
there are more
Yeah.
neonatal challenges. But what's illustrative
Yeah. I
here
know.
is
Yeah.
opportunity for communication.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize we could communicate that way. So I'm
Hmm.
sharing it with you live on this recording so that people and you and I can really see when you do your light language. What if you spoke to every in the Netherlands or in Amsterdam or around the world? Because you have that capacity to go around the world
Hmm.
and to share, right, with children and spirits when we don't have the whole infrastructure yet to
Hmm.
let everybody know. And maybe some of this early work on the inner that we do that impacts the outer, we can share in videos, we can share
Yeah.
in movies, we can share in cartoons, right, like animations, we can share in books, we can share in the classroom. And what if kids came up in the classroom and they're 5 or 6 or 7 and they said, yeah, I remember being in there and I remember an angel. I think her name was Angel Nina, and came to me and said,
Yeah.
all those past lifetimes that you were an amazing being and got stoned or got killed, what if you could let all that go? What if you're entering a new earth where we don't punish people for having inspirited abilities, like language? And they're like, "Oh yeah, I can let it go." So this kid is 5 or 6 now, and he goes, if Angel Nina had never come to me and shared with me how to release all that anger and upset and sadness and depression, then I wouldn't be the same. I have a healthy beating heart that didn't need any intervention to be here. And wouldn't that be cool if they could remember being 6 weeks gestation?
Yeah.
Because we can. And honestly, we do. We just don't know how to access it yet because we have so much fears in the way, like you were sharing, that prevent us from accessing our true nature.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty sure, I don't know how many kids it was. How many kids was it that I helped? 10, 100, 200, 300, about around 300 kids. So those 300 kids can go when they're 6 years old, which will be in a couple of years, and they'll go, because this was in 2021 that I did it. And so in a few years, they're going to go. Angel Ashley came to me and, you know, said, you don't have to hold on to that anymore. Let's conflict resolve it. Okay, so we can do that on the inner without languaging and without another person having to have a human body in order to receive it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So, so I'm curious. I was wanting to ask you if you could
Hmm.
step into the moment
Hmm.
of when you said when you feel sick with negative thoughts and emotions.
Hmm.
What does that look like when you start to do light language? Like if you went through an example of feeling sick with emotions, let's call it sick with emotions like
Mhm.
um long COVID, for example. Let's move out long COVID right now in your body.
Mhm.
And if you bring it back in or you remember it, you can do it again and just do it again and again and again
Yeah.
until like I'm good, I'm good. This is out of me.
Yeah.
So so breathe in if you took a moment to be present
Mhm.
to the long COVID feeling sick or down or depressed. And then breathe in the love that you are, centering yourself in your divine true essence. Even in this moment, even feeling sick with long COVID. And on the exhale, you can release the depression or the irritation or the frustration, the downer, like it's down. It's all this depressed energy.
I hear
Breathe
that
out that,
someone said sluggishness.
yes, sluggishness. What a great
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
So breathe out that sluggishness. I have it too. I don't even have long COVID and I get sluggishness. Because we haven't learned how yet as grown-ups because we've been so stuck in a linear learning fashion that we didn't know how to access each other and illuminate our brilliance together to create something different that we've never had on the planet before. There you go. So breathe out that sluggishness. And it's okay if you get it again and again and again, and we get it again until we don't have it anymore. But here we are empowering with each other and for each other and with ourselves and for the whole world. We breathe out that sluggishness. Now, would you begin a little bit of light language as you feel and describe a little bit about how you connect to that? Do you connect to your heart? Do you connect to the middle of your brain? Do you come out of your body and connect with your spirit and bring it in? Like, however you do it is perfect. I just wanted everyone to hear and us to hear ourselves. What does that look like for you? What is that maneuver? What happens with you? Because I'm sure it's different with other people.
Yeah, I think so
But
too.
what happens with you when you bring in your light language? Like you become aware of it and you start to create utterances through your vocal cords and your breath,
For me,
right?
it's just like with my art. It's uh, open myself for it, but it comes very natural because for me it feels like I want it and I'm doing it. But when I sense my body, there's some. Um, for me, I call it one with God, the unity
Oh,
consciousness.
one with God.
That's
Wow,
yeah. So
that's beautiful. Okay,
then everything is oh, it's uh
just comes together.
yeah. I don't know how I know how it feels, but I just know it. So with me, it feels like centering myself, but it goes very fast. So I don't do it constantly, but I know how to do it somehow. So then I feel in myself, in my body, and then click, and then I'm going to do it. My sounds or but before that, it feels like a little bit excitement, and there's some kind of power. It's coming into myself, and I don't know if it's me or it's the connection, but then it starts. So that's
It
what
just
I
starts. Okay. So it's like you shared you bring yourself in.
yeah, and but
And do
also
you
opening
focal and
myself
do
for
you
it.
yeah,
I
open
don't
yourself for
yeah.
it. Yeah. And then letting
I
it
don't
kind of
feel it.
drop in.
Yeah, I don't feel it in my vocal cords, and I have the feeling that there's more in my vocal cord. There's still some issue with it. It's uh, some tension that there still is because I have the feeling that there can be more coming out of it. I don't know how to say it else. And
No, it's really beautiful.
I feel the
Yeah, like
Arcturians. You know,
yeah.
yeah, the Arcturians who was the way
Yes.
well, 6 years ago, I had a very profound experience with them, and they gave me a healing. They were standing in a circle around me. I was in the woods, and then they gave me a healing on my voice and the rest of my body. but I still feel it's a little bit stuck here. But I think that's another stage. There has to be, there is a right time when that is, I'm ready to do that kind of sounds. That's what I feel. So,
Beautiful. Beautiful. So when you feel it in your voice,
mhm,
you may still have some tension or conflict in your voice. So when you begin the light language and the utterances of
mhm,
the language, do you do you feel the resonance of releasing the tension in the light language or expressing the tension, acknowledging the tension, and then moving through that tension to the other
mhm.
side to then express the brilliance coming through? Like I've heard I haven't learned how to do utterances of light language yet. So I don't have the physical experience of it. And what I I do mudra light language. So I realize that you're right. You're very, very right. Is I think the 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 process to communicate too is to express the tension we're experiencing or the negativity, to acknowledge it and then move through. And then as we start to move through, the brilliance continues to flow and flow and flow through us. And then all of a sudden, when that tension's released or relieved, the utteраtions or the movements of the mudras begin to cease. And then
Mhm.
what I notice is and then I hold a mudra, kind of like this, and I
Yeah,
hold it, and then I know that that new frequency, that emancipating frequency from the tension,
yeah.
begins to fill my whole body.
Mm.
And so I'm curious in light language with utterances, right? You're embodying this throughout and then expressing out to the outside world, the external world, to other people. I can't imagine. Could you imagine children who are doing light languages to plants and
Oh
they
yeah,
start growing, right? And
yeah.
then like the frequency of it, and then of their voice, and then animals, like when a dog's barking, and the
Well, I sing it
and
for my dog. I didn't tell you that
yes,
because in the car I do it often, and then my dog looks. What's she doing? He always reacts on it.
isn't that amazing? So let's say
Yeah,
they're barking and you want to calm them down. What if you could calm them down with light language
yeah,
versus saying stop barking,
yeah.
right? I don't
I've
know how
done
you
it
feel.
some. One time I did it with a swan, and
Wow.
I saw the swan look at me, the head turning to the ear. What's happening? And it swam towards me and looked me in the eye, and then it
Ooh.
was gone again. But the connection was there. I knew, oh, that's how it worked with language. You can also do it with the intention and telepathically, but this was a different level. I noticed that, and I gave one time or two times I gave a voice healing with light language to different people, a group of people, and then one of them heard that another voice came through. So I call myself a voice medium because there are coming other voices with it, and I think I don't know it because I don't know it. I think the Arcturians are helping me to give their frequency and their knowledge through my voice. And I also saw, I even made an artwork of it that um, when I look at, because I can, just like just like you look into the body, and vocal cord I see as two uh, opening. And when I was focusing on my own vocal cord, I saw a third opening. There are three, and that's the second voice. So, and I think
Kind
that
of
we
like
are
a
evolving.
triangle, kind of like a triangle or something, like three
I didn't,
sides.
I didn't see that because when I made the artwork, that it's like a stopping sign, 1, 2, 3, and it's also, yeah, that's what I I get a download in our vagina. There are also three openings. So I don't know, but that's what suddenly came into my head. Um,
Yeah, I just got to download too. Like, what
yeah,
if we could shift our inner moments of brilliance and bliss and the flow going? That the vocal cords create sacred geometry, kind of
yeah,
like cymatics. Do you know
yeah. That's
cymatics where they
true.
put this
Yeah, yeah,
on the thing and then they have it vibrate?
yeah. But I think
And
that's what it
kind of
is.
kind of like your picture behind you, the purple one. That's like a
Yeah,
flower in a mandala.
yeah.
But
That's an
what
eye
if our vocal cords
and the
take
eye
on
nerve.
that, right? Take on that sacred geometry as
I
it's
think I
coming.
I think I'm doing it already because now I'm working on this one, and when someone asks me it, I can also
Ooh,
sing with it. It's not finished yet, but to give an
ooh,
example, um,
wow.
and this is so for someone who to open the wisdom in her body, their own body wisdom.
That's
That's what she
beautiful.
asks.
Is that computer generated? Did you draw it?
No,
How did you make it?
the picture of the mandala is I always take pictures of the sunlight, um, and then I have it on my phone, and then there are different apps on my phone that you can mirror the picture or turn it or different functions. And this is the kaleidoscope. That's what I made of my original light picture. And then codes, I paint the codes on it with a
Wow. So what if in a classroom of children, you could go outside, take a picture of the sun.
yeah,
Everybody have their own phone,
yeah,
so they have to be probably a certain age. And then they have that app on the phone.
yeah,
And then you come back into the classroom.
yeah. That
Everybody
was my
makes their own
yeah,
mandala. You've got a
yeah,
printer there. You can print
yeah,
it out. And then everybody do light language
yeah,
and everybody have a different color and a different
yeah,
mandala. And they take it home that day and you focus on like maybe a negative feeling or something tension, right? Some
yeah.
conflict. Like
Yeah,
no one
nothing is
listens.
good or bad, and it doesn't have to be beautiful because that's inhibiting the process. But that's very important to know that it doesn't matter. It just comes out of you, so it's good.
Right.
It's
So
always good.
maybe they're
Yeah, right.
maybe they're maybe they're teens or preteens, maybe they're freshmen or first year in high school,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
what I
can you
wanted to
imagine?
do. I wanted to
That's what
introduce it. I was at school with children who had ADHD or autism, and they couldn't follow the regular school program, and they went to that school, and I was there too as a teacher, and it was more like a mentor. And then I wanted to do these things, so I had a class, and I said, I want to sing for you light language. Do you agree? Do you want to hear it? Yes, do that. So I did it, and I was very nervous because I thought, oh my god.
it's
But
so
then,
amazing because I bet that's the best therapy or whatever you would
yeah,
call it for
yeah,
children with autism because well, and first of all, or second of all, for parents or teachers,
hmm,
if you did it art and language
yeah,
together, so going out and taking a picture of the sun, getting that image, shifting that image in the app to
yeah,
something that's printable, and you print it out, and then everyone sings the light language, you're helping those autistic children connect to
mhm,
themselves, their
yeah,
abilities, and then out to the rest of the world. And
yeah,
I bet you, I can't imagine, but I can imagine that the kids going home after a session like that, or a semester like that, or some period of time like that, doing that every day with different categories, that they would be much more present, much more available to share who they are and what they are in our physical world, and less
yeah. That's my
angry
wish.
at our.
Because in that school I wanted to do that. That was my plan. But because I had differences with my boss, because he had very much ego, and he was interested in what I was doing, but at the same time he didn't approve. So we got conflict. But that was the
So
school I already
maybe
wanted to
we're,
do it. Maybe it
yeah,
was too early.
maybe writing it up as the target audience is children with autism
Yeah,
that
it
have
could be.
difficulty connecting. I have an art and language class for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't worry, we're recording it so
Oh
you
yeah,
can
yeah,
re-listen to the recording.
yeah.
But I would write that down, and then the purpose is to help children with autism connect to themselves, to each other, and to the environments they're participating with.
But also the highly gifted. That's what you call. I don't know how you call it in English, but I'm a how do we say it? Uh, um, I don't. You have gifted people, but you have also creative gifted people, and it's not because they are especially creative, but in their minds they are thinking different. And what you said, um, if you talk about learning, they are not learning uh, this way, but the other way. So that's my whole life. I have had to um, adjust myself to think that way. Otherwise, other people can't understand me. But my natural way is the other way, and that's very tiring for me. And even with math, I discovered that I could understand it with uh, putting myself in the knowledge, and then I knew it. I didn't learn it from the teacher telling me or the books, but embracing the knowledge that he had in him. So if you connect with the knowledge someone has, it's already done. You don't have to read it, write it. You know it. I don't know how to explain it else. But um, I also want to be there for people who have this also because they can skip a lot of crap and noise and because I have a lot of noise in my head because of that. I don't need it. I want to clear because then there is from this to there is and not because of all the things I learned that are necessary. So then I can make the connection much sooner because I'm someone for the new earth and I want to have solutions for that and not all the other stuff that makes it sluggishness, I think. Now I'm talking about it. So that's the quotation.
Ah, right, you got it out. Wow. That was beautiful. You just described your purpose.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean because I feel it. It's
Yeah,
so it's like
it's
steam.
beautiful. It's like
Now the
it's like
torch is
it's coming out, right? And so
ah,
you're gonna express your target group, you're gonna express the purpose, you're gonna express the process, and
yeah.
you're gonna express some of the outcomes. Like the autistic children will be able to connect to themselves and communicate more effectively to themselves and to each other when they feel heard and understood. And this process will help them unpack
Yeah.
feeling heard and understood. And if you do it in kind of that way, that linear way to your boss or other people, neurotypical people will be able to understand what you're sharing.
Hmm.
Now they'll want to see the results. But I can only imagine that the results are fantastic. And that is, right? That is beautiful. If you could take a picture of it and send it to me on WhatsApp, and the app that you use, I will share with people around America what that is and how they can do it. I know so many people like you totally bridged the concepts here. Is I know so many light language people that over the last decade, the last 10 years or 12 years, have been looking at the sun and taking pictures of the sun and the sun rays. Now I understand what it is. Those sun rays are bringing through sacred geometry
Yeah, that's
that
true.
that and I can see it and we can see it. I just didn't know how it was applied to our
Hmm.
physical world. Now you've created and utilized an app that created an application. That I think that's why they call it an app too, by the way.
Yeah.
it's, it's
Yeah.
it's an application. So you created an application from taking a photo of sun rays, turning it into a mandala or a sacred geometry, as an image that children and other people can image, bringing through, knowing that that's their vocal cord singing is that photograph. and it's expressing a tension problem. It's expressing how to move through that problem into the other side of that problem, becoming aware of the solution
yeah,
created from love, not created from pain and fear.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh
and
my God, I got an F on the test. Do you have grading system too?
yeah,
A, B, C, you do? Wow.
yeah,
Us
it's different,
Americans,
but
I think we
same
wrecked
system.
everybody. I think we wrecked
Yeah,
everybody. It's terrible.
it's
I like I
don't talk
used to
about
say
it.
when I got older, I was like, I don't care if I get an A.
Yeah,
I don't I'll give me an F. What does that feel like to F
yeah,
fail? And anyway, it was kind of funny because I was like, this is silly. Why are we grading people's homework?
yeah.
Anyway, that we
Now,
can move through. Yeah.
what I wanted to say is, it's not the thing that I'm also doing is when for instance, mirroring a picture from always sunlight and nature, something sometimes there are leaves with it or the clouds. They're also very interesting, the sylphs and all of that. I have a lot with elementals, and the elementals are especially for children very useful for connecting with um, fantasy. What is not fantasy, in my opinion, but it's very important because then you have the energy of playing. And why should an adult not play? Because that's what we are also. We are meant to play and learn and discover, and not ch- th- th- yeah, and work your way through it. That's not what we are. We are players and developers and creators, and it is meant to be fluid and not for this, then this, then this, then this. It can be done, but it's not natural. That's how I feel it.
It's
And
it's not
when I
natural.
make,
So,
yeah,
right,
when I
so
make
that
a picture,
natural
it's
way in
yeah,
connecting with the elementals can be a curriculum or a course or a class
yeah,
that is for younger kids.
hmm
So that's what your brilliance and your genius and your creativity is here. And the thing is, you've been a teacher in the normal
yeah. So I
way.
can translate
So
it
you,
and I can bridge it. It's true,
yes, and you can
and
bridge it. You can,
I can use simple words to explain what is when you don't have the knowledge. Consciousness, it's difficult, but when because I have been trained to use simple words to explain something difficult. And that's now I understand why I was a teacher for so long, because now that's helped me to put words to it. And that is for a lot of people important.
and yeah, and know that culture and that the value system of the old
Hmm.
and know it intimately instead of being mad and upset and depressed about it
Yeah,
because we just didn't know any better back then.
yeah,
And so now
I
that
know.
we let go of the mad or the anger or the depression or the
Yeah,
sadness, is now we have this tool sets and the abilities to bridge these two worlds together, to bridge the kids and the teachers and the administration. And you don't have to fix those environments. We're going to create
yeah,
new environments.
yeah, yeah.
But right now
That's what I know.
we're kind of
And
beta testing,
I
right?
must say there are a lot of people in the school system who also want it differently. So is already a lot of change, but now on the top, that's keeping it down. But the teachers themselves want it differently. So there's a lot of movement there also, even though it hasn't changed the school system. It's already beginning to evolve in another way because it's impossible not to change anymore.
Yes, and so what if the bridging isn't about telling the old system that they're wrong and bad
Yeah.
and ugly and is just utilize these advanced technologies called
Hmm.
light language or mandalas, sacred geometry with our what if you had sacred geometry in your voice that was speaking regular Dutch to your colleagues and to other people in the school environments that allowed them that consciousness transfer to get in um, without making them wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? And then they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh wow, that's really cool. I get it. I get it." And you could target the most vulnerable kids at first because that to them makes sense because they don't know how to connect to those kids.
I
And
once
they
made
and
a
they know that
yeah.
they know that babysitting them isn't working.
Hmm.
It isn't helping them grow or develop.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right?
want you to take.
I
I,
can't wait to see the app. If you can take a picture of that app or the
I
name of
use
it.
different apps, and there are also a lot of people who use it or use it anyway. But
Oh, that's so cool. And
at
and
first I can't show it now.
okay.
Oh no, I don't know how I can show it. It's
I
Pixart.
I'm just so excited because there's so many light language people with all these different skill sets. And I'm wondering why does everybody have a different skill set? And it's because it's to
Yeah,
bridge these technologies.
yeah. The one I it's called Pixart, but
Okay, can you take a screenshot of it where you press both sides and you take a screenshot of your apps
yeah, I do it
and
now.
then and then send that photo on WhatsApp to us?
Yeah, I
Oh,
can also
awesome.
show it to you now, but so that you know how it
Yeah,
looks.
how it looks in.
For now, and then I send it also on the app. But um, this one,
I mean, you have a genius technology process here that I want you to write out and then we'll demonstrate on video and then we'll share it with people and then you can
you
charge for
mean
services.
how you used these apps? You mean, or what do you
No,
mean?
like how you go outside and take a picture of the sun
Oh
and how
yeah,
you then put it into the app or
yeah,
app and then how you print it out or make it, then how you talk about it through your vocal cords, then how
yeah.
you
I
share
understand.
that sacred geometry with
Yeah,
others.
yeah.
That is
Well, the
brilliant.
first one is this. So, but I send it to you also in the app. It's
Okay,
Pixart.
Pix art. Wow.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
there's you can do it for free, and there's also a paid extra functions, but you don't have to do it.
Yes.
But that's possible. And I using Mirror Lab more now.
Mirror Lab.
Mirror Lab.
Oh, that's cool.
You can
Okay.
do a lot with
But
it.
it's not the app or the use of the app that's what your intellectual property is. Yours is going out and taking a picture of the sun.
Yeah.
Let's say when you're tense, when you're ooh, that's
For
cool.
instance, this one. That's what
Wow.
I make. And then I with this one I made, for instance, I just taking because my whole phone is full of that. This is a mirror image,
Wow.
and then
Wow.
another one is these are very crystalline uh, energies. And then, for instance, with this from the same picture, I do this mandala,
Wow. See?
and
So
there
there's
I
frequencies
yeah
in the light.
yeah yeah.
And what
Light
you're
is
doing
wisdom
then is
because
is you're putting the light frequency on the vocal cords or in the breath. Think of it in the breath,
yeah
right? There's water molecules in your breath.
yeah or something like this.
Ooh, ooh, wow.
I make a very lot of this, and I know a lot of people are making
I bet there's
this
a
kind of
lot of
thing.
codes in there.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
when you connect with this,
when you start to sing or you start to share in light language,
hmm,
you're sharing that consciousness.
yeah,
So
but also
you don't have to go, you're bad, you're wrong, stop doing
no,
that. I need you to
I'm
do
not
this.
doing that anymore. I don't have to fight because I know what you mean. And when the last year when I went to school, I already did it. I sat with my colleagues and I tried to listen to them, and I said my own thing, but then with the love and the peace, and just I know where you are and I know where I am, and I'm just saying what I have to say and not more and not less. So
It's beautiful. It's
and then
beautiful. So
yeah,
yeah. So I'd love you to write that down, like your target audience, whatever that is, your purpose, your process, and the intended outcomes or the impeccable intentions, right? Outcomes
I don't know if
are
I understand it all, but
impeccable is like pure form, highly integrous.
yeah. No, I mean,
Impeccable.
you are asking me to write down all this stuff you are said
Yeah,
before.
yes,
So
like in
in
a
this
one
kind of like a plan
to
or something.
share with these audiences that you're naturally drawn to
Mm-hmm.
and make a class and say, you know, I don't know, to the autistic kids once a week for a semester, and you get paid $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 to come in once a week and do this art language process with them
And you mean with a team of you or in my own country?
in your own
I don't.
country, in your
Yeah.
place, for right
And
now.
how? Yeah. How do I get? You know, how do I get a bunch of autistic kids?
Well, don't they have classrooms for them?
Yeah, but I'm not a teacher now anymore. I don't have that job anymore. So I
You
can
can
come into
you're an
one school and
outside.
say, "Well, I am a light language teacher. Hear
No,
me."
no, no. You're no,
Oh.
no. You're a retired teacher. That's on your resume. You have to make up a resume.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, 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 what is it called in Dutch? A resume.
A CV,
Okay,
CV, a C,
perfect.
curriculum vitae. Yeah, I
Curriculum
know what you
vitae.
mean.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you're going to make that,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to make it as you're a credentialed teacher. You are retired, and now you're doing consulting work.
Mm-hmm.
So you're an art language consultant, whatever that is in Dutch.
Yeah. Now, well, I say that because I still have something in myself that I don't believe that others can understand what I'm doing when I'm saying that because I've
Oh,
experienced it.
okay.
So I don't know
Then
how to
do
put
this with
myself. Yeah.
what you have teenage children.
Mm-hmm.
So how with their friends or other people, and they're having some sort of trouble, like
Mm-hmm.
they're mad at their boyfriends, whatever, right? Or mad at mom, or mad at dad, or mad at school. Let's just say they're mad at school. And you're there in the house and you say, "Hey, I have an exercise we could all do together or something fun we could do together." Then I'll take our phones, we go outside, we take a picture, do like you did, bring it back, get them to load up the app, go through that process, and now literally ask them to speak. They don't even have in Dutch. They don't have to do light language. Have them speak. Image this. Have them drop in an image, that image that they took with the sun about their problem,
Mm-hmm.
and then now start to talk about it. Put it in your mind's eye. Breathe in and breathe it into your vocal cords. Now speak your truth and let them speak, whatever it is in Dutch. And they could say all cuss words.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
In Dutch, is
I
it
know
fine?
because I've tried it with my daughter, but she doesn't want it. She doesn't like what I do, and she doesn't want it, and she doesn't want to hear my drum or my song. She doesn't want it at all. She's
Don't
13,
don't
so
don't try to convert the ones that
no,
don't
I don't
believe
know.
in
Don't
you.
do it. I don't do anything with her.
No,
I
no, no.
maybe
What I'm saying
no,
is that that's okay. They're
yeah,
here to
yeah,
challenge us.
yeah.
Is
No,
that
but
is
I'm. That's it. It has no use to do it like that with her. I have discovered. So what I'm doing with her is it more telepathically, and when she has something difficult, I'm. I noticed that I'm more channeling to her what to do. So I'm connecting with her, and then it flows out of me, and then I let her be. And most of the time, she comes with the solution herself. That's the way I do it now with her. And my son is different. So I have different, so to say, techniques to uh, um, interact with them. I haven't
wow.
done it with my app or something because that's
So
too complicated. I think,
so I'm
you know.
lining up opportunities to be with media companies and other things. and on publishing companies and other things. So I'd love you to write out your resume or your curriculum vitae. I'd love you to write out some ideas or curriculums, courses. So a course for autistic preteens and teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And then what if this could be turned into a little movie, a baby movie, like a 20-minute movie about being with kids with autism and doing this process? What would that look like? Like I'd love you to envision this. What I would do with your daughter, for example, is now instead of just telepathically sharing with her, let's say you have a conflict with her
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and she's mad at you about something. So I would
Yeah.
love you to go outside, take a picture, say, "Hold on, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to turn this picture into an app.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this mandala. I've got this mandala. I'm going to drop in and I'm going to change my vocal cords to this new tension realm, and I'm going to share my truth with you. I love you. I care about you. I recognize and acknowledge your tension, your stress, and I'm here to support you." In Dutch. You can say that in Dutch,
Mm-hmm.
right? But did you hear my voice? My voice literally changed. The quality and the tone changed right there. I had to
Mm-hmm.
kind of hold it because I'm not used to it either. But you do
Mm-hmm.
it effortlessly. So in any language, you can bring that mandala in. English, Dutch. You speak some other languages, don't you?
No, not
No?
well.
A little French?
No,
No?
only a few words. Don't let me speak French.
Okay. Not Spanish either. I don't speak Spanish.
I've unlearned it. I don't know it anymore. I had
There
it
you
all
go.
school, but
We'll have
yeah, I heard it, hear it.
right? Okay. So now, but what I want to share with you is I want you to bring in that tension code and then share with her. And you don't have to tell her that you're doing any of that. Say, "Wait, I need 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever." And then
Mhm.
go out there and do it yourself. Don't show her, don't tell her, but then come back and be that mandala with her in a vocal conversation and see if that shifts. I have a feeling it might, because
Hmm.
now you're
Okay.
speaking through your truth.
Mm-hmm.
You've just brought it into the physical though from the sunlight, right? Our light
Mm-hmm.
language. It's literally light language, right?
Yeah.
You turn the sun rays into a mandala, into a sacred geometry state, and you shifted it in your vocal cords. So you're not only sharing words that change our thoughts, but you're sharing the consciousness inside the words. Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to end here. Let's see
Yeah.
what you get over the next few days and follow up in a few days, okay?
Yeah. It's good. It's okay.
Okay. I just have
I
to take
don't.
another